If your feet feel cold, your legs feel heavy, or your ankles swell by the evening, your circulation may already be slowing down. And most people try dozens of supplements without realizing something important. Your body doesn't actually need 20 different vitamins for circulation. In fact, it relies on just 3 specific nutrients that help blood vessels open, stay flexible, and push blood back toward your heart. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 vitamins doctors often recommend for improving leg circulation after the age of 60. But there's one detail most people never hear about. The 3rd vitamin only works properly if you take it at the right time of day, and many people take it completely wrong. Hello, I'm Dr. Christina Serrati, and today we're going to talk about something millions of people quietly struggle with every day: poor circulation in the legs and feet. Maybe your feet feel cold even when the room is warm. Maybe your legs feel heavy by the afternoon. Or perhaps you notice tingling, numbness, or that uncomfortable sensation like your blood just isn't flowing the way it should. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many people assume these symptoms are simply part of aging, but the truth is, circulation problems often come from something very specific happening inside your blood vessels. And unfortunately, the supplement market has made things incredibly confusing. Walk into any pharmacy or search online and you'll see hundreds of circulation supplements, multivitamins, herbal blends, expensive capsules claiming to boost blood flow. Yet most of them fail to deliver real results. Why? Because most of these products contain tiny doses of dozens of ingredients. It looks impressive on the label, but physiologically it rarely does enough to create meaningful change inside the body. Think of it like trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon. Your body doesn't need 50 different nutrients for better circulation. It relies on just a few key compounds that directly influence how blood vessels open, how flexible they stay, and how smoothly blood moves through them. When those mechanisms work properly, circulation improves naturally. When they don't, blood flow slows down, especially to the extremities, like your feet and legs, which are the farthest points from your heart. Today, I'll walk you through 3 specific vitamins that play a powerful role in supporting healthy circulation. Each one targets a different step involved in blood flow. One helps expand the tiny blood vessels so more blood can reach your extremities. Another helps keep arteries flexible instead of stiff and hardened. And the 3rd supports the production of a natural compound that tells blood vessels when to relax and widen. When these 3 mechanisms work together, circulation can improve dramatically. But there's something most people overlook. It's not just which vitamins you take. It's also about the exact form of the vitamin, the correct dosage, and in one case, even the time of day you take it. Miss those details and you might not see the results you're hoping for. So let's start with the first vitamin 1, that acts almost like a cleanup crew for your blood vessels. Now let's talk about the first vitamin that plays a major role in restoring blood flow: vitamin B3, also known as niacin. I often describe niacin as the circulation cleanup crew. Why? Because it targets 2 of the biggest problems behind poor circulation: narrowed blood vessels, sluggish, thick blood. When these 2 problems combine, circulation slows down dramatically. Blood struggles to move through tight vessels and the heart has to work harder just to push it forward. That's when people begin noticing symptoms like cold feet, leg fatigue, tingling or numbness, or that heavy sensation in the calves after standing or walking. Niacin helps address these problems in a surprisingly direct way. But here's something extremely important most people never hear. Not all forms of niacin work the same. In fact, many supplements purposely avoid the form that is actually most effective for circulation. The form you need is called nicotinic acid, often referred to as the flushing form of niacin. You may have heard of the niacin flush. When people take this form, they sometimes feel warmth spreading across the face, neck, or chest. The skin may turn slightly red and feel slightly tingly for about 15 to 30 minutes. While that might sound unpleasant, it's actually a sign that something beneficial is happening inside the body. The flush occurs because niacin is rapidly widening the small blood vessels and capillaries near the surface of the skin, and that same widening effect happens throughout the circulatory system. In medical terms, this process is called vasodilation, which simply means the blood vessels relax and expand. Think of your arteries like roads. If circulation is poor, it's like trying to push traffic through a narrow 2-lane road during rush hour. Niacin temporarily turns that narrow road into a much wider highway, allowing blood to move more freely. This widening effect can help improve blood delivery to the extremities, especially the legs, feet, and hands, which often suffer the most when circulation declines. Niacin also affects the composition of the blood itself. For decades, it has been studied for its ability to improve cholesterol balance and reduce certain fats circulating in the bloodstream. When those fats are reduced, blood can flow more smoothly through the vessels instead of moving like thick syrup through narrow pipes. In simple terms, Niacin supports circulation by relaxing and widening blood vessels, improving blood flow dynamics, reducing resistance inside arteries, but dosage matters. The tiny amounts found in multivitamins, often 10 to 20 milligrams, are nowhere near enough to produce these circulation benefits. Most people using niacin for vascular support begin with about 250 milligrams once per day taken with food. Starting slowly is important, because the flushing sensation can feel stronger during the first few weeks. As the body adapts, many people gradually increase to around 500 milligrams daily, which is often where circulation improvements become more noticeable. Of course, niacin is a powerful nutrient. Anyone considering higher doses should always speak with a healthcare professional first, especially if they take medications or have liver conditions. But once circulation pathways begin opening up, the next step becomes just as important, because even wide blood vessels won't work well if the artery walls themselves become stiff and inflexible. That brings us to the second key nutrient, a vitamin that works almost like a repair technician for your blood vessels, and it's one that many people have never even heard of. Let's talk about vitamin K2. Now that we've discussed how niacin can help open blood vessels and improve circulation, let's move on to the second key vitamin that supports healthy blood flow, because even if blood vessels widen properly, circulation can still suffer if those vessels become stiff or hardened over time. And unfortunately, that is something that often happens as we age. Think about a brand new rubber garden hose. It bends easily, adjusts to pressure, and water flows smoothly through it. Now imagine an old hose that has sat in the sun for years. It becomes rigid, brittle, and much harder for water to pass through. Your arteries can go through a similar change. Over time, calcium and other minerals can begin settling inside the walls of blood vessels. Instead of remaining soft and flexible, arteries slowly become stiffer and less responsive. When that happens, circulation becomes less efficient. Blood vessels cannot expand or contract easily, and blood flow to the legs and feet may begin to decline. This is where vitamin K2 becomes extremely important. Vitamin K actually exists in two main forms: vitamin K1, vitamin K2. Vitamin K1 is found in leafy green vegetables and mainly helps with blood clotting. But the form that supports circulation is vitamin K2, especially a subtype called MK7. The MK7 form has a special advantage. It stays active in the bloodstream for many hours, giving it more time to perform its job inside the vascular system, and its role is fascinating. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic controller for calcium inside the body. Calcium is essential for strong bones and teeth, but when calcium ends up in the wrong place, like the walls of arteries, it can cause serious circulation problems. This buildup is known as vascular calcification. When arteries stiffen from calcium deposits, blood flow becomes less efficient, and the heart has to work harder to push blood through the body. Vitamin K2 helps prevent this process by activating a special protein called matrix GLA protein, often abbreviated as MGP. You can think of MGP as a tiny cleanup system inside the bloodstream. Once activated by vitamin K2, this protein binds to calcium that has accumulated in soft tissues like artery walls. It then helps move that calcium away from the arteries and redirect it back to bones, where calcium actually belongs. As a result, arteries can remain more flexible and elastic, which allows them to respond naturally to changes in blood pressure and circulation. For circulation in the legs, that flexibility is extremely important. Every time you walk, stand, or climb stairs, your cardiovascular system must quickly adjust blood flow. Flexible blood vessels make that process much easier. The dosage for vitamin K2 is relatively small compared to many other vitamins. Most research-reported amounts fall between 100 and 300 micrograms per day, specifically in the MK7 form. Because vitamin K2 is fat-soluble, it is best absorbed when taken with a meal that contains healthy fats. Foods like fermented soy products, especially a traditional Japanese food called natto, naturally contain high amounts of vitamin K2. However, many people prefer supplements since the taste of natto can be quite strong. Now at this point, we've addressed two major components of healthy circulation. First, opening blood vessels with niacin. Second, maintaining vessel flexibility with vitamin K2, but there is still one critical factor left: a signaling molecule inside the body that tells blood vessels exactly when to relax and widen. And producing that signal depends heavily on the third vitamin in our circulation trio. Let's talk about vitamin C, the nutrient that helps fuel the body's natural vessel opening signal. So far, we've talked about two important pieces of the circulation puzzle. First, niacin, which helps widen blood vessels and improve blood flow. Second, vitamin K2, which helps keep those vessels flexible instead of stiff and hardened. But there's still one more critical factor your body relies on to maintain healthy circulation: a powerful signaling molecule that tells blood vessels when to relax and open. That molecule is called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is one of the most important substances your body produces for cardiovascular health. It works like a chemical messenger that tells the muscles surrounding blood vessels to relax and widen. When nitric oxide levels are strong, blood can travel more freely throughout the body. But when nitric oxide production declines, blood vessels remain tighter, circulation slows, and the heart must work harder to keep blood moving. And this decline in nitric oxide production becomes very common with aging, which is one reason circulation problems tend to appear later in life. Now here's where vitamin C becomes extremely important. Most people think of vitamin C mainly as an immune support vitamin. We often associate it with preventing colds or helping the body fight infections. But vitamin C also plays a powerful role in supporting the cells responsible for producing nitric oxide. Inside your blood vessels is a thin layer of cells called the endothelium. These endothelial cells produce nitric oxide whenever your body needs to increase blood flow. Vitamin C helps protect and support these cells so they can continue producing nitric oxide efficiently. It also helps stabilize nitric oxide once it's produced, preventing it from being destroyed too quickly by oxidative stress and free radicals. You can think of vitamin C as the fuel that keeps the nitric oxide system running smoothly. Without enough vitamin C, the signal telling blood vessels to relax becomes weaker, and when that signal weakens, circulation can gradually decline. Now, the form of vitamin C you choose can also make a difference. The most common form is ascorbic acid. It works well for many people, but higher doses can sometimes cause mild stomach irritation, because circulation support often involves larger amounts. Some people prefer buffered vitamin C, which is combined with minerals like calcium or magnesium to make it gentler on the stomach. Another option is liposomal vitamin C in this form. Vitamin C molecules are surrounded by tiny fat-like particles called liposomes. These help the vitamin pass more efficiently through the digestive system and into the bloodstream. Liposomal vitamin C is often considered one of the most absorbable forms available. For circulation support, many experts suggest around 1,000 milligrams per day, sometimes divided into 2 smaller doses. But there is one detail that many people overlook: the timing of when you take vitamin C. Taking vitamin C earlier in the day may provide the greatest benefit. That's because circulation demands are highest when you are active, walking, standing, and moving throughout the day. Taking vitamin C with breakfast, and possibly again around lunch or early afternoon, helps ensure nitric oxide support during the hours when your body needs it most. Taking large doses late at night is usually unnecessary, and for some people, vitamin C can even feel slightly energizing. So at this point, you can see how these 3 vitamins work together to support circulation. Niacin helps open blood vessels. Vitamin K2 helps keep arteries flexible. Vitamin C helps signal those vessels to relax when blood flow needs to increase. But before anyone rushes out to start taking these supplements, there are a few important misconceptions and safety considerations we should discuss. Because even helpful nutrients need to be used wisely and responsibly. Before you start adding new supplements to your routine, there's something very important we need to clear up. A misconception that causes many people to waste money and see no results? It's the belief that a standard multivitamin already covers everything your body needs. I hear this all the time from patients. They'll say, "Dr. Serrati, I already take a multivitamin every day, so I should be getting enough vitamins for my circulation." It sounds logical, but the reality is very different. Most multivitamins are designed with a completely different purpose in mind. They are meant to prevent nutritional deficiencies, not to create therapeutic effects in specific systems like circulation. Let me explain what that means. When scientists establish recommended daily intake levels for vitamins, those numbers are based on the minimum amount needed to prevent deficiency diseases. For example, the amount of vitamin C needed to prevent scurvy, the amount of vitamin B3 needed to prevent pellagra, but improving circulation is a very different goal. 2. Influence blood vessel flexibility, vascular function, and nitric oxide production. The body often requires higher concentrations than what basic multivitamins provide. Let's compare typical multivitamin doses with the levels we discussed earlier. A standard multivitamin might contain about 15 to 20 milligrams of niacin, but for circulation support, people often use 250 to 500 milligrams. That's more than 10 times higher. Vitamin K follows a similar pattern. Many multivitamins include only small amounts of vitamin K1, which mainly supports blood clotting. But the form we discussed earlier, vitamin K2, MK7, is rarely included at meaningful levels. Even when it is present, it may be only 10 or 20 micrograms, while the circulation support range typically falls between 100 and 300 micrograms. Vitamin C shows the same pattern. Many multivitamins contain around 60 to 90 milligrams of vitamin C. That amount is enough to meet basic daily needs. But for supporting nitric oxide production and vascular health, Many people take around 1,000 milligrams or more. So, while multivitamins can certainly support general nutrition, they often don't contain enough of specific nutrients to significantly influence circulation. Another common mistake is assuming that more ingredients automatically means better results. Some supplement labels list 20, 30, or even 40 ingredients, but when you look closely, each ingredient is usually present in very tiny amounts. It's like trying to build a strong house using dozens of small sticks instead of a few solid beams. Sometimes focusing on a few well-researched nutrients at the right doses is far more effective than taking complex blends. Of course, supplements alone are never the full solution. Circulation also depends heavily on daily habits. Regular walking activates the calf muscles, which act like a secondary pump that pushes blood back toward the heart. Staying properly hydrated supports healthy blood viscosity, and maintaining balanced blood sugar and cholesterol levels also plays a role in long-term vascular health. Supplements can support these systems, but they work best when combined with healthy lifestyle habits. Now, before we finish today's discussion, there's one final topic we need to cover. Even though these vitamins can be helpful, they are still biologically active compounds, which means there are a few important safety considerations everyone should understand. Let's go over those next. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about something that's just as important as the vitamins themselves: using them safely and setting realistic expectations. Because while these nutrients can support circulation, they should always be approached with knowledge and responsibility. Let's begin with a few important safety considerations. First, niacin. Niacin can be very helpful when taken in higher doses, but it is also a powerful nutrient. As we discussed earlier, the flushing form nicotinic acid can temporarily cause warmth, redness, or tingling in the skin. For most people, this reaction is harmless and usually fades within 15 to 30 minutes. Over time, many individuals notice that the flush becomes less intense as the body adapts. However, because niacin can influence cholesterol metabolism and liver enzymes, anyone who has liver conditions, diabetes, or takes medications for cholesterol or blood pressure should always consult their healthcare provider. Before using higher doses, doctors sometimes recommend periodic blood tests when therapeutic levels of niacin are used for extended periods. Now, let's talk about vitamin K2. Vitamin K plays a role in the body's blood clotting system. For most healthy individuals, this is not a problem. But if someone is taking blood-thinning medications prescribed for heart conditions or stroke prevention, vitamin K supplementation should always be discussed with a physician first. In these cases, doctors may want to monitor clotting levels or adjust medications if necessary. Now, regarding vitamin C is generally one of the safest vitamins available. However, very high doses can occasionally cause mild digestive discomfort for some people. That's one reason buffered or liposomal vitamin C can be helpful, since these forms tend to be gentler on the stomach. Drinking enough water and splitting doses throughout the day can also improve tolerance. Now let's talk about something many people are curious about. How quickly might circulation improvements appear? This is where realistic expectations are important. The body rarely changes overnight. During the first week, some people mainly notice the niacin flush, and possibly a slight warmth in the hands or feet as blood vessels begin responding. Within 2 to 6 weeks, some people report that their legs feel lighter by the end of the day, or that their feet feel warmer than before. These early changes often reflect improved vessel relaxation and blood flow, but the longer-term benefits, especially those related to arterial flexibility, can take more time. Vitamin K2 works gradually by supporting the body's natural process of managing calcium placement in tissues. Because of this, meaningful changes in vascular flexibility may take several months of consistent use. Consistency is important. Skipping doses or taking supplements irregularly can slow progress, especially with nutrients like vitamin K2, which rely on steady levels in the bloodstream. So let's briefly recap the 3 vitamins we discussed today. Niacin, the circulation opener that helps widen blood vessels. Vitamin K2, the flexibility supporter that helps keep arteries resilient. Vitamin C, the nitric oxide supporter that helps blood vessels relax and maintain healthy flow. Together, these nutrients support 3 essential aspects of circulation: vessel expansion, vessel flexibility, and the signaling that regulates healthy blood flow. Of course, vitamins alone are only one part of the bigger picture. Regular movement, balanced nutrition, proper hydration, and good sleep all play important roles in supporting healthy circulation. But understanding how these nutrients work can give you a clearer roadmap for supporting your vascular health. Your legs and feet rely on strong circulation every single day, and giving your body the right support can make a meaningful difference over time. Outro engagement boost. If you found this information helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more science-based insights on circulation, mobility, and healthy aging. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced symptoms like cold feet, heavy legs, or tingling in your feet at night? Let us know in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else realize they're not alone, and sometimes those shared experiences are the first step toward finding solutions. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. I'm Dr. Christina Serrati, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.